The Middle East Institute at Georgia State University presents Arabic Grammar Unpacked. In this lesson, we will be discussing the ism maf'ul, or passive participle of a verb. Here in this example sentence, we have Naguib Mahfouz Katib Ma'ruf. Naguib Mahfouz is a well-known writer. We have an example of what we learned in the last lesson here. Katib is the ism fa'il, or active participle of the verb kataba. He's a writer. But the next word in red, ma'ruf, is what we call the ism maf'ul, or passive participle. It is the person or object who has had that action done to them. In this case, we have the root ayn, ra, fa, to know. This person has been known, and is a way of saying well-known or famous in Arabic. Another example, هذه الكلمات مكتوبة على الشاشة. These words are written on the screen, where we've taken the verb kataba, to write, and turned it into an adjective, maktuba, written. They have been written is the idea here. Or we can say, موضوع هذا الصف هو التاريخ المصري. The subject or topic of this class is Egyptian history, where the verb وضع, to place or put down, has been changed into موضوع, that which has been placed or put down, which is how we say subject or topic in Arabic. We can say هذا هو الموضوع المدروس في هذا الصف. This is the subject studied in this class, where we've taken موضوع, that which has been placed down, the subject of this class, and then we've used the adjective madrus. We've taken the verb darasa, to study, and put it in the maf'ul form and turned it into madrus, studied. Not in the sense of I have studied this subject, but rather in the sense of this is the subject that has been studied. The ism maf'ul describes the person or object that has had the action of the verb done to them. As a review, remember that every verb has 5 parts. The maldi, or past, or perfect, or complete tense that describes the completed action and is the root tense of the verb in Arabic. The mudari, the present or incomplete tense, which here is given in the first of its 3 forms, the mudari marfu by default. The masdar, or gerund, or verbal noun, that describes the act of doing that particular action. The last lesson's topic, the ism fa'il, or active participle, the doer of that action. And today's topic, the ism maf'ul, or passive participle, the person or object that has had that action done to it. The ism maf'ul is very easy to form from its root. Remember that we have to memorize 3 things when we're learning a new verb: the vowel it takes on the middle consonant in the past tense, the vowel it takes on the middle consonant in the present tense, and the form of its masdar, because these 3 things cannot be predicted from the verb's 3 root letters. But the ism maf'ul can. It always uses the same form. We have a prefix of mim with a fatha, then we have the first root letter with sukun, the second root letter, long vowel waw, and the third root letter. So amila becomes ma'mul, something that has been worked. Darasa becomes medrus. Kataba becomes maktub, something that has been written. And arafa becomes ma'ruf, something or someone that has been known or is well known, we would say in English. The ism maf'ul is very simple to use. It can be either a noun or an adjective, the same way that the ism fa'il can be. So we can take the same example. Naguib Mahfouz Katib Ma'ruf. Naguib Mahfouz is a well-known writer. Here we have the ism fa'il, Katib, and the ism maf'ul, Ma'ruf. Notice that Mahfouz's name itself is an ism maf'ul. The verb hafidha means to preserve something, so Mahfouz really means something that has been preserved. It's just his last name here, but it happens to be an example of the same sort of word. هذه الكلمات مكتوبة على الشاشة. These words are written on the screen, where we've taken maktub from the verb kataba, changed it into its ism maf'ul form, and because it's an adjective here, it has to agree with its noun. So kalimat maktuba, we have to add ta marbuta. We can say موضوع هذا الصف هو التاريخ المصري. Here, the ism maf'ul is a noun from wada'a, to put or place. So a mawdu' means something that has been put or placed, and means topic or subject in Arabic. We don't always get the precise meaning from the word, but most of the time we can get a pretty good idea of what it means from its root letter and its form. And then again we have هذا هو الموضوع المدروس في هذا الصف. This is the subject that is studied in this class. It's important to understand here that madrus means studied in the sense of something that has been studied, not someone or something who has studied. That would be a verb, and we would use the regular past tense to describe that action. This is something that has the action of studying applied to it. It's a very important distinction. So madrus here is an adjective. The ism maf'ul can be either a noun or an adjective. Again, Arabic grammar tends to regard them as essentially the same thing. It isn't a verb, although it's derived from one. We can say ذَلِكَ الرَّجُلُ مَدْرُوب, or the verb daraba, yani to hit or strike something. So this man has been hit or struck, hopefully by something not particularly heavy or sharp. If we want to pluralize the ism maf'ul, all we have to do is add the jam' mudhakkar salim ending, the un ending, or the at ending for female plurals. We don't have the problem with the ism maf'ul as an adjective that we did with the ism fa'il, where sometimes we had a different wazn to make it plural. So if we're going to use it as an adjective, we're always going to use the un and at endings for human plural. So ula'ika rijal madrubun, these men have been struck, again hopefully by something comfortable. We can say هذا هو الموضوع المدروس في هذا الصف. This is the subject studied in this class. The important thing to notice here is that al-mawdu' is a noun and madrus is an adjective here. Again, the ism maf'ul can serve as either one. But if we're going to use it as a noun and then we're going to make it plural, it takes its own wazn to make it plural. So the plural of mawdu' is mawalde. And all of the ism maf'uls are going to work in the same way if we're going to use them as nouns and make them plural. So we've taken al-mawdu' and made it plural, al-mawalde, and then we've taken the adjective madrus, which is the same wazn, the ism maf'ul. Remember, it can be either a noun or an adjective, and we've inflected it by adding ta marbuta to make it agree with non-human plural is feminine singular of mawalde. So the ism maf'ul is really one of the simplest parts of the verb to use. We always take the maf'ul wazn and put the three root letters into it. It can serve as a noun, in which case it's going to take the mafa'il wazn as its plural, or it can serve as an adjective, in which case it's going to serve as a completely regular adjective. It's very much worth getting to know, and it's an essential part of learning intermediate Arabic grammar.